Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is the Joe Concha Show. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. 77 WABC.
All right. Monday night after what an awesome week. I know the Giants and Jets aren't in the playoffs. Like, that's some big surprise. But, like, every game was amazing. I mean, you could go all the way back to Thursday night if you want to say that was the start of the weekend. Miami and Ole Miss, and then Indiana destroys Oregon. So Miami, Indiana, national championship. No, you're not listening to WFAN. I'll get through this quickly. But then my Bears with an epic comeback on Saturday night. The Rams come back in the last second to beat the Panthers. Thank God. I can't have the Panthers advancing too far in these playoffs. I need named teams with named players. Just saying. And then obviously on Sunday, the Bills. All right, it's a New York team. Kind of counts. Come back to beat the Jaguars. And then the Patriots do as expected. They beat the Chargers, who don't like cold weather very much. So, just if you are just the type of person who can watch 9 to 12 hours of football a day or sports in general, this was the weekend for you. And it continues, obviously, tonight with the Steelers and the Houston Oilers, now Texans or whatever they are. They just have horrible uniforms. That I do know. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff, shall we? Or horrible stuff, I should say. This thing in Minneapolis, I've come to this conclusion that we really do live in two universes. The universe of sane, sober, common sense, and a universe of, I don't know how you describe it, like a black hole of idiocy. There's no other way to put it. We played the clips last week. You've seen it on video 1,000 times. There is such a definitive video that was filmed from the ICE officer's cell phone, clearly shown that he got hit, clearly shown that was he hit dead on? Was it a life-threatening injury? No, it does not matter. It doesn't matter intent either, whether she was trying to drive away when her wife said, "Drive, baby, drive," and she floored the gas, hit the ICE officer, and whether her intent was just to get away or to hit the officer does not matter. All you have to know is that this ICE officer was hit by a vehicle not too long ago. 33 stitches were needed. So he's already been hit by a car. And I'll share this. My wife was once hit by a car. Hoboken, New Jersey. She was a Division I runner in college and was a great one. Once ranked third in the country at one point. And, after college, when she was living in Hoboken, she was going across a crosswalk, look both ways. She's been running in cities her whole life. I mean, Georgetown, you run through Washington, D.C., you can run through anywhere. And a police officer came around to turn, threw on his lights, said he was getting to an emergency, and hit her hard. She broke her clavicle. She tore her MCL again, which she had done once before years ago, broke her wrist. Just a horrible, horrible injury. So was this police officer, was this ICE officer hit like that? No. And my wife's fine, by the way. I should finish the story. She is on a Peloton right now, I think, as we speak. She had to go through a lot of physical therapy. Obviously, this still mentally is something you don't quite completely get rid of, getting hit by 2 tons of a police car, coming around a turn at full speed to get to wherever it had to get to. But still, so she's fine. But this ICE officer, you could see why, after getting hit just a couple of weeks ago by a car, was rammed into, and this apparently is part of the strategy from the left. I'm not saying all, obviously, or not even close to all, but it appears that this is all about antagonizing ICE officers into doing something that can be caught on video and then see these people are bad, see these people are here to hurt regular American citizens. That's the whole goal, and that's why they're all being filmed, including by Renee Good's wife at the time, who was taunting ICE officers. You want a piece of this, big boy? Go grab some lunch, right? And just being yelled at the entire time. And I'm not saying that is what, that warrants, shooting somebody. Of course not. But if you've been hit by a car as an ICE officer and another one is coming right at you, I've asked the question before. I'll say it again. What would you have him do? And now this officer has been doxxed, right? His life has been threatened hundreds of times. Tom Homan was talking about how he spoke to him, and obviously he's very, very shook up by all of this. But again, he was in a legal right in terms of what he's trained. He did exactly what he's told to do in those situations. Yet we have a media, and I'm sorry, I just can't take this. And this is the alternate universe that I'm talking about. I swear, if you could just extract all the political ideology out of someone and all the hatred or love they have for the current president, right? And it's pretty much definitive one way or the other. You either love him or you hate him in terms of President Trump. Extract all of that and just put them in front of a TV. Take a 10-year-old who doesn't even know who the president is, for example, or barely knows anything about what's going on in the world, right? They have their own lives to lead. And boy, I'd kill to be 10 again. Trust me, I have a 10-year-old. It looks really fun. But let's say you did that and you had him watch that video. And I did this with my 12-year-old, actually. She wants to be a lawyer when she gets older, which at 12 is a pretty aspirational, pretty awesome goal to have. Mine was to play for the New York Yankees and to be a weatherman. So, like during the offseason, be the weatherman. High goals. Neither one worked out. But the point is that I allowed my 12-year-old to watch it, and I asked her to come to her own conclusion. She didn't know what the context was, really. I just said, that's an officer. That's somebody behind the car. This is somebody who obviously was being told to get out of the car. And then I just let it sit from there. And she said, well, obviously she was wrong. She ran right into the guy. All right. So if that's like the test, that's pretty much how I would think that a majority of people, even Democrats who are screaming about this, probably feel deep down, but know that they have to virtue signal in this situation to call this ICE officer a murderer and to call the agency the Gestapo, because I guess that is what gets them approval with their friends or makes them feel good about a person, or maybe some sort of white guilt that they have to take the side of Renee Good and her wife in this situation, because I guess, that's the safer option, even though forget safe and forget everything. Did she try to hit the officer or not? Even if she didn't try to hit the officer, did she hit the officer or not? Should she have got out of her car the way she was supposed to? Should she have parked perpendicular to the street in the first place and honked her horn for 3 minutes before that in an effort to, again, antagonize ICE? And obviously she was there for a reason, despite what we've heard, that she was just a mom who dropped off her child and that was just trying to get home and then was murdered by this ICE agent. Seriously, that is the analysis that we're seeing. Well, enter Joe Scarborough, who he's on MS, whatever it is now. Oh, that's right. It is MS now. And here he is lecturing his audience. And if this sounds familiar, well, trust me, we'll get to that. This is cut 11 where he's saying, you know what? If you can't handle the truth, much like Colonel Jessup and A Few Good Men, what can you say? If you don't trust Joe Scarborough, who will you trust? This is cut 11. Go.
I'm sorry for people that don't like the truth and you want to watch shows that lie to you and want to watch networks that lie to you and who want to watch podcasts that lie to you.
Right.
I'm sorry you don't like the truth.
The reason why this is so funny is because way back when in March of 2024, when we all knew that Joe Biden's brain had turned to mashed potatoes, he goes on national television in almost the same exact speech, except take out Minneapolis shooting as far as the real truth coming from Joe Scarborough and insert then President Biden. This is cut 12. Go.
Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth.
Uh-huh.
And F you if you can't handle the truth.
F you.
This version of Biden,
right,
intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
No, of course not. Game, set, match. How is this person still employed after that speech? F you if you can't handle the truth. The best Biden we've ever seen. And then, of course, not too long after that, debate against Donald Trump, June 27th, Georgia Tech. We all saw for ourselves, and I've been saying it for years, and you've been saying it probably for years, that this guy has no business working, in the exact change line of a toll booth, let alone being the leader of the free world. But there was Scarborough saying, you know what? If you can't handle the truth, and now he does the same speech. Is there any self-awareness with these people? Like, at all? No, of course not. Anyway, meanwhile, of course, as you guys may know, I come from a sports background originally. Fox Sports, NBC Sports, New York One, which here in the city. I worked for Sports on One. Stevie Cangelosi Bud Mitchkin. This is back in the late 90s. I know, I get it, but I was a producer there. So that's how I originally got into this business, and I wanted to be on the air. I wanted to be, I can't believe I'm saying this, Keith Olbermann. Trust me, in the 90s, like kind of a cool guy on SportsCenter with Dan Patrick. It was called The Big Show, and it was awesome. And I taped it because, I'm going to totally date myself on this. And I just wanted to be a SportsCenter anchor, honestly. And then I realized that, boy, there's a lot of guys like me that want to have the same job. So I went in a different direction. And now here I am hosting on WABC, and I'm on Fox News, obviously, as a contributor. And I'm writing for the Washington Examiner and writing best-selling books and doing speeches all over the country. Pretty sure I made the right pivot in this situation. But what I do not miss is the wokeness that is in sports. And more and more we're seeing it. And it's, quite frankly, disgusting, especially Steve Kerr, who only spoke at the DNC in 2024. He, of course, is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors that without Steph Curry and without a supporting cast where you don't need a coach on this team, right? During their heyday, the Golden State Warriors were as good a team that I've ever seen. Not better than Jordan's Bulls, but not too far behind either. So Steve Kerr, though, somehow thinks that his opinion really, really matters because he was a coach of a great team that, again, I could have coached and they would have won all those championships. This is cut to with him talking about in a post-game presser, which means you're here to talk about the game. Instead, here's Kerr to lecture us again, this time taking the side of Renee Nicole Good and calling it, straight up murder. This is cut to, go.
Well, I'm glad that the Timberwolves, recognized, her life and the tragic nature of her death. And it's shameful, really, that in our country, we can have law enforcement officers who commit murder and seemingly get away with it. It's shameful that the government can come out and lie about what happened when there's video and witnesses who have all come out and disputed what the government is saying. So very demoralizing, devastating to lose anyone's life, especially in that matter. So it's terribly sad for her family and for her and for that city. And I'm glad the Timberwolves came out and expressed that sadness.
All right, Phil, you can stop it there. That's the thing, right? I mean, he's talking about the Timberwolves, where they all wore the same kind of winter cap when they lined up for the national anthem that Nicole Good was wearing when she was shot by an ICE agent after she floored the gas and hit him. And again, this is Steve Kerr, not even being objective. Like, dude, watch the video. And then, do I really need to hear in a post-game press conference how you feel about it? I guess I do. Not to be outdone, here's Milwaukee Bucks head coach Doc Rivers, who's been in the league for a long time. He felt he had to share how he felt as well. And this one is somehow even worse than Kerr's analysis. This is cut 3. Go.
What happened in Minnesota was a straight-up murder, in my opinion. And it's awful. This lady was probably trying to go home, and she didn't make it home, and that's really sad. So the whole ICE thing it's a travesty. It's clearly, to me, we're attacking brown people, and I just happen to be brown.
What? Wait, what?
And I don't think it should just be brown people who are upset at this. I think we all have to be. I don't care what side of this thing you are on politically. What's going on in our country right now is absolutely wrong as far as the race stuff. The politics, I'm not going to get into. The race stuff, I will. And it's just wrong, and we have to do something. But the only thing Phil, we can do right now,
I can't take it anymore.
Keep speaking.
Nope. Can't take it. I have to stop there because I have to get back to that one point he said. This is about police attacking brown people. At last check, Nicole Good, as white as Wonder Bread. I mean, what is he talking about? We're going to make this a race thing now? How? How is that remotely possible? I'm choking on my own rage here. And again, straight up murder? Has Doc River ever looked down an SUV when he's standing in front of it when the person floors the gas? And he knows he's targeted? Oh, and by the way, again, Doc Rivers, do you realize that this guy was hit by a car? not too long ago that intentionally rammed him as an ICE officer? And we're talking, you can't talk about him in any way, shape, or form? No, you called him a murderer. This is defamatory. This ICE agent, I'm sure, just wants this to go away. He just got engaged recently. His whole world is in front of him. I doubt he wants to get into a courtroom and start suing NBA coaches. But boy, I mean, if this isn't defamation, I don't know what is. By the way, I guess we're not rushing to judgment on this, huh? Just calling it murder. And again, ignoring overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Not to be outdone, of course. I can't get over this guy. He is such a weenie and such an a-hole. There's no other two words that come to mind when it comes to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. This guy is the same guy who does half his speeches in Somali because he's afraid of offending his biggest voting bloc. The same guy who cried during the George Floyd funeral saying that he needs to do better about his white privilege and white guilt. It's just, you want to see the definition of woke and whose photo's next to it. Yeah, it's Jacob Frey. And now this guy, all right, is trying to claim, again, there's video around this, that the officer involved here actually was not run over, despite the loud thud that you hear of him getting run over and video showing him getting run over. This is cut 4. Go.
Don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Watch the video from every single angle. I mean, the ICE agent walked away with a hip injury that he might as well have gotten from closing a refrigerator door with his hips. He was not injured. I've seen worse injuries from doing that. And so give me a break. No, he was not ran over.
Stop it. All he got was a hip injury. If he didn't get out of the way, it could have been a lot worse. So you're allowed to hit police officers? I guess, wait, how does this work again? So if I aim a gun at you and I only give you a flesh wound to your shoulder, it's not really like getting shot? Is that what the argument is now? Because at first, this moron said that, well, he doesn't think that the officer here was hit. And now it's, well, he was hit, but he really wasn't that badly injured. Are you kidding me? This person runs a major American city, an NFL city, an NHL city, an NBA city, a Major League Baseball city. That's the leader. He makes Memdani look competent. Oh, I can't. This isn't fake, guys. Of all the stories that we have covered, right, that I've covered over the years, whether I'm writing about it, whether I'm talking about it on Fox, this might be the most infuriating. Only because, again, there is video evidence. These people are still saying these things. It gets worse. Here's an MSNBC commentator, or MS Now, sorry, this is going to take a lot getting used to, who is asking, why do ICE agents have guns? Oh, I don't know. Let me answer that question on the other side of this. This is cut 6. Go.
An issue with guns. And police, of course. But the gun thing, the fact that she was shot like this for what? Almost hitting this agent? I mean, the fact that guns were used and she was shot and killed in this way, to me, is the most horrifying part. Why does an ICE agent have a gun?
Do stupid people get to a point in life where they understand that they're just stupid? I know. That aired on national television. This person gets paid for this opinion. Why do ICE officers have guns? I don't know. They're arresting some of the worst people on the planet. Rapists, murderers, child molesters, sex traffickers. You expect them to go into these places unarmed, given the people that they're dealing with? That's the argument? Why did he have a gun? I got a break. We'll be back more to talk about this. We're going to talk to Sean Spicer, who I have a feeling has some pretty definitive opinions on this as well. This is Joe Concha. I'm going to get some Pepto-Bismol now. I'm going to try to calm down a little bit, and we'll be back here on WABC and the Joe Concha Show in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, 77 WABC.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the pain points of wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Joe Concha Show. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. 77 WABC.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, let's bring in hopefully arrested Sean Spicer. My people were down, let's say on an island somewhere south, and I'm getting these texts. Sean Spicer's here. Should I say hi to him? I don't want to bother him. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, bother him. But I don't think they ever found you again, Sean. So I tried my best, but you ended up having a very pleasant vacation after all.
Yeah, I do appreciate your best efforts to intrude, not you personally, but inflict other people onto me during my my couple days away. So thank you. I appreciate that. I will find a way to repay it in spades, my friend. Trust me.
Revenge is a dish best served conch, definitely, and I have a feeling that'll be coming my way, probably on April Fool's or something when I'm least expecting it. But, Sean, I got to get your thoughts, because this is like the topic. I can't get away from it. You know how it is. I mean, you've been doing podcasts, and obviously you're the White House press secretary, the RNC, and sometimes, like, some news stories, they come and go like a fart in the wind. Like, they're here for, like, a little bit, and then before you know it, it's gone, and you forget about it. This thing in Minneapolis, I just can't get over the fact that we have a situation here where this is where I come down on it. Objectively, if I extract every like ideological feeling I have in my bones, and I just watched that thing as if I just landed on Earth for the first time and I was asked to judge a video and who was in the right or the wrong, you can't not come to any other conclusion except that this officer, who was struck by a vehicle, he was rammed as an ICE officer not too long ago, needed 33 stitches, and now here we go all over again, where this video clearly shows him saying, whoa, 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 after this, the deceased, Renee Good, Nicole Good, was asked to get out of the car, and then her wife says, drive, baby, drive. She floors it, hits the officer. Maybe didn't cleanly hit him, but at the same time, whether there was intent or not, the officer did the only thing he could do there. And yet I see on the left and by many in media that this was a woman who was just trying to get home and was murdered in cold blood by an ICE agent. I just can't believe that we're living into these realities at this point when the evidence is just overwhelming. I thought we were at a place where we could kind of agree on a simple set of facts. Apparently I was wrong.
100% wrong. I mean, look, I'm with you on this. To me, two things can be true at once, right? Obviously, I don't want anyone to be killed.
Sure.
She was not standing on the side of the road with a sign that said, I don't like ICE, right? She took, like, let's go back to the facts that we should all agree to, which is funny because I can't get folks on the left to agree to this. So fact one is it was a legal law enforcement operation that ICE was conducting. That's indisputable. Fact two, he has spent some time trying to, by her own and the group's own admission, disrupt that legal operation. Okay, that's, again, not in. Then she took her car and put it in an illegal place, right? You cannot drive perpendicular on a street. So that's true. Then number four, she was asked by a law enforcement officer to get out of the car. She didn't. Then five, she accelerated at another officer. So those are indisputable facts. The way the left would present this, though, in the media is calling for a poet and a Christian mother who was just out for a drive, is that she did nothing wrong. That's just factually not true.
And we're talking to Sean Spicer. He is the host of The Sean Spicer Show and the co-host of the DC Huddle with Dan Turntine, our old friend here as well, and Rachel Bate, So definitely two must-listens to there, no question about it. Let me play a clip for you, Sean, of Ilhan Omar, obviously represents this district where this happened in Minnesota, Minneapolis. Here she was on ABC News with obviously little pushback because it's ABC News, and you will not believe where she's coming down. Actually, maybe you will believe this, where she's coming down on all this. This is cut number 15. Go.
If they are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained, he should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car. And
you shouldn't get in front of a moving car. It was his fault for approaching the car from the front. And I guess, somebody just hits the gas. It's all about collateral damage. I mean, this person represents a district of this country in Minnesota in Congress and has for some time, and that's what she came down on, and of course ABC didn't push back.
Right. I mean, again, go back to what I said, that's indisputable. Like, that car wasn't just parked on the side of the street. right? She literally, again, this is not, I don't know why we have a hard time getting these facts in order with respect to the left. She took her car, she put it in a place, by her own admission, to disrupt the operation. It's perpendicular, right? So you cannot, it's a minimum of traffic violation, right?
Right.
And the second thing is that she accelerated after being told to stop. So to place blame on the officer is absolutely ridiculous. But again, this is where it's amazing to me that we've come to a place where two people can see the same thing and literally omit a whole set of facts. But Joe, here's the thing. And this is sort of, I know your wheelhouse and it's been mine recently. It's one thing for the left to defend their own, but so the complicity of the media, as you mentioned, whether it's ABC or whatever, they are literally, the headline in the AP, as I said, was, mother Christian and poet, mother of three killed by ICE. Like somehow they went out and targeted her.
Yeah. You're exactly right about that. I mean, just like the Biden cheap fakes, like what you saw, you didn't really see of Joe Biden shaking hands with the air or talking to world leaders who have been dead for years. I can't remember the names of his cabinet members. All that is just cheap fakes, and that's what we were told, and people laughed about it. I would hope that would be the case here. I'll let you go. I know you got a lot going on right now. One more clip to get your reaction, because I know you love Jake Tapper. This is Mark Wayne Mullen, a Republican Oklahoma senator. Here's Tapper actually trying to say that, Nicole Good didn't really hit the ICE officer who shot her. This is cut number 13. We'll get Sean's reaction right after that on the other side. Go.
You said that she clearly hit him. I don't know that that's true. It may be true. It may not be true. It does seem that he stepped to the side and was able to avoid getting hit in a horrible way, and he was seen walking fine afterwards. Again, I'm not defending what she did. I'm just saying she didn't.
Well, what's
she
the
didn't
difference
run
in a horrible way?
Well, she didn't.
What's the difference in a horrible way or not? It's like saying, well, I didn't really shoot you completely. I just shot you in the arm, but I shot at you. It doesn't matter. The vehicle was being used in a lethal manner.
Great response by Mullen. I'll give you the last word, Sean.
Yes. No. Well, look, it's not surprising. The idea of saying he only kind of hit you. First of all, who cares? The officer told her to get out of the car. Right. So then to say, but it's his fault. But look, this gets back to something you and I were texting about. I exposed this on Friday exclusively, over 1 million views. It's on my social media accounts.
Nice.
Politico mistakenly linked to their internal Google Doc, and it shows that they don't actually go to any conservative sources. And that's the bottom line, is the media doesn't want to show you any other view but the dominant narrative from the left. And so none of this is surprising, because, if you just woke up any given day of the week, Joe, and you said, and you never knew what happened, and all you did was see the Today Show, the Washington Post, CNN, you think that ICE was out there targeting people in America. And that's the problem right now, is that people don't understand that the media is literally trying to continue to spin a narrative that carries the water for the left. And if you don't go to all their sources, if you don't listen to the Sean Spicer Show or the Joe Concha Show, then you are going to get spoon-fed a bunch of lies, like you just talked about, whether it's Biden, the 51 intelligence agents. They do this for a reason. And so we've got to wake up and realize that if you're just getting spoon-fed left-wing legacy media sources, you're going to come out with a very different view of America.
And we'll leave it there with Sean Spicer, who was kind enough to make the time here this evening while his son is dominating him. Is it basketball, Sean? Is that the sport, or is it hockey?
And they are winning. They are winning. So, yes.
All right. Excellent. Well, obviously. It comes from mom's side, clearly. But Sean Spicer, thanks so much. It was too easy. I had to do it. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
New show.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Congrats to you as well on a new show. Everybody's getting new shows. It's awesome. It's the DC Huddle with Dan Turntine and Rachel Bate. It really is a great listen, and definitely it's the normies, right? You want to hear from normal people making common sense arguments. Spicer and company definitely do that. This is Joe Concha. This is the Joe Concha Show. Back with so much more in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, 77 WABC. It's the Joe Concha Show. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. 77 WABC.
All right. Two more, actually, on this Minneapolis shooting of Nicole Good. And that is Nicole Good's wife, Rachel Good. She was filming, right? That's the video that's been viewed millions of times. She is taunting ICE officers. You want to come at me, big boy. Go get some lunch. I'll be waiting for you. Obviously there to agitate, just like Nicole Good was. why hasn't Rachel Good, the wife of Nicole Good, why hasn't she released her video yet? Why don't I hear anybody asking that question in the media? I've seen it broached on Fox, but that's one of the first questions I had. I said, well, there's got to be body cam video, and there wasn't quite body cam video. It was video from the perspective of the ICE agent, which is basically the same thing. But then Rachel Good had a pretty good angle there, too. She was trying to get back into the car when she yelled, "Drive, baby, drive." And from her angle, she is on the right side of the car, and then the ICE officer would be directly across from, well, not perpendicular, I guess you could call it like perpendicular from her because he was on the left headlight. So if we're looking at a clock and she is 6 o'clock, the ICE agent was around 2:30, 2 o'clock. So I'm sure that when she took off, the natural reflexive reaction would be to film the car going right? This is the only thing she would have done. And maybe we would see something that maybe she doesn't want us to see. Or else she would have released that video, right? She would have leaked that thing to the Minnesota Star Tribune in about 5 seconds, or to CNN or MS Now or anybody, if it somehow proved that the officer wasn't hit. But we know that he was hit from 2 angles that we're seeing already, but maybe she has the very best angle. Just putting that out there. Let's hear from Jacob Frey one more time. As much as this pains me to play this, I can't even say the word. I have like 18 expletives I'd love to drop here. This numbnuts. This is cut number 7, where he actually is talking about how Nicole Good was just trying to get out of there. It's okay if you disobey orders from federal officers saying to get out of the car. She just wanted to go home, or maybe just want to go grab, a slushie. This is cut number 7. Go.
In the immediacy following the shooting, you heard people from the Trump administration saying that the victim was a domestic terrorist. You heard that the ICE agent was acting entirely in self-defense.
He was.
And here's the thing. You don't need to take my word for it. You don't need to take their word for it.
Right.
Watch the video.
I did.
The ICE agent was not run over, as Trump
He was
stated.
hit.
You had a person that was definitively trying to just get out of there. They were trying to leave the scene. That is not a person that's trying to run an ICE agent over. You have a person that is trying to protect our city, to look out for our neighbors.
Okay. Phil,
and by the way,
I can't take it anymore. Again, just trying to leave the scene. Why don't you try that next time you get pulled over? And this is after you block a road for in obviously a nice staging area, right? In a police staging area. Why don't you go into that staging area, take your car, your SUV, park it perpendicular to block cars from getting across the road, including other police cars, or in this case, other ICE vehicles. All right, honk your horn for 3 minutes, right? Then have your spouse get out and start taunting the police officer, okay? And then drive, hit the police officer, maybe not completely cleanly, but hit him, and then see what happens. That's what Jacob Frey, the Minneapolis mayor, is saying right now, that she was just trying to get out of there. Oh, okay. So next time I'm pulled over, maybe if I just want to get out of there, I guess I should just floor it and see what happens. And if I hit a police officer along the way, I guess I should just expect them not to do anything. Again, this guy, he'll run for president one day, probably. I could see like a Jacob Frey AOC ticket that's brewing in 2032 or something. It's just a joke. All right, I'm done with Minneapolis for now, anyway. Bill Maher, again, I know that a lot of you probably don't agree with what he says, but there is, I respect people who are authentic and have some common sense. And Bill Maher, when you look at relatively compared to the rest of the left, has a lot of common sense. And here he is talking about how this is why young men voted for Trump in 2024. And the reason is, well, very Bill Maher-ish in terms of the optics here. It's cut number 8. Go.
You can't change who we are.
Yeah.
There's just so much of this shaming. A lot of it, people wonder why so many young men vote for Trump. Well, maybe because, he's one guy who doesn't make you feel guilty just for being born with a
well,
it's true. It's a lot of his appeal. They make you feel, a lot of, not me. I'm old enough to remember when it was the reverse, so I get the backlash.
What it was like to be born without
but you're 20. That I don't remember. But if you're 22 years old, if you're 22, you don't remember a time when it was the reverse. So you've only seen the backlash. You've only seen white men bad.
Yep, exactly. word that was being beeped was the nickname for Richard Nixon. He was also called Tricky Dick. So I think FCC, I got around that somehow as far as explaining what that word was. Anyway, the point is that, that's one of the reasons why so many young men went for Trump, because they don't have to feel guilty about their own manhood. And I got a young son, and I worry that when he gets to high school or college, all it takes is like an accusation with no evidence, and you see what happens to people in this society. I don't think it's as bad as it was during the Me Too movement of like 2018, but still, you'd almost rather not be a guy at this point in this world where it's just, I don't even know what to say anymore. Anyway, let's go to, I love this, by the way. This is one of my favorite clips. I got to say, I got a lot of clips to play with here, people, but this is easily one of my favorites. It comes from another Democrat who seems to make a lot of sense and may even run for president. I'm not going to say I'm going to vote for the guy because he's, basically just talked about sports his whole life, never really ran a business. Like Trump, you could say, well, he was never in politics either. Yeah, I get that, but he ran very successful businesses. And the guy has always been somebody that, let's put it this way. I will share this story. I remember it was 2012, maybe it was in 2011, and I was coming back from a ski trip, Killington, Vermont, and I was with a couple people in the car, and somehow, it's a long trip. Have you ever been to Killington from New York? But about 5 hours and change. So after a while, you just start talking about random things. In this case, somebody said, oh, who do you think's going to win the presidency in 2012? That wasn't put that way because you don't talk that way at happy hours. Like, hey, do you think Obama's going to get beat? I think it was more the way it was put. And I said, I don't know if Romney can do the trick here. I think you need someone tougher. I don't think Republican Massachusetts senator is exactly going to really resonate in those states you need to win, like Pennsylvania and Ohio at that time was actually like a purple state, believe it or not, and then Wisconsin, Michigan, so on. So I said, I don't know if Romney is the answer. I said, I'd like to see Trump run. I think that's the kind of guy that Republicans need, a guy with some real brass, And people they didn't laugh at me, but they said, you think he'd actually ever run? He always talks about it. He never does it. Sure enough, 4 years later, he did. He won. I feel somewhat vindicated in that prediction, albeit I was off by about 4 years. Anyway, here's Stephen A. Talking about sanctuary cities. Again, Minneapolis, sanctuary city. New York, sanctuary city. What is a sanctuary city exactly? That those who enter the country illegally, so they're already criminals, can go there even if they commit crimes and not be exposed to the feds who want to rightly deport them. Here's Stephen A., and here's his explanation, or at least his analysis, on sanctuary cities and why they're allowed exactly. Cut one, go.
I don't understand how sanctuary cities, honestly speaking, I got to educate myself in it. I don't understand how sanctuary cities are allowed in this country. I really don't. I don't get it. If there's federal laws that mandate that, you know what, you can't cross the border illegally, there shouldn't be sanctuary cities saying, yes, you can. It just shouldn't be. I mean, one way or another, pick one. You either can or you can't. But it shouldn't be federal government says no, but you say yes, so you get to usurp the authority of the federal government, and we're still calling ourselves a nation of laws. Well, which laws? It makes no sense. That's where I'm coming from, Andy.
There you go.
I live in Los Angeles.
I'm not sure who Andy is, but Andy just got a nice little lecturing to, and yep, all of that makes sense. Something that does not make sense, however. So I don't know if you watched the Golden Globes last night. I mean, again, you're going to read stories how this was the lowest rated Golden Globes in television history. Just because I remember I said to my wife today, so we missed the Golden Globes last night. She goes, yeah, I can't watch those things anymore. And again, she's not a very political person. But she was saying, we're just going to get lectured to. It's going to be all about politics. She goes, I don't even know like 90% of the movies that they're nominating anyway, or the shows for that matter. She goes, I don't miss it. I said, all right, you know what? You're right about that. Why was I even like saying? I was saying more for my daughter because they cover some artists, I guess, that she likes when you're 12. The artist that I have like zero idea. Like Gracie Abrams, who is this person? But apparently like a very, very big deal. She's past the Taylor Swift, I guess, stage at this point. And whenever we're in the car, she plays this music. And it's actually not this. It's not bad. I guess I'm more of like a 80s country rock kind of guy, but still, nonetheless, I'm open to listening to new stuff. Anyway, Wanda Sykes, however, I don't need this. I really don't. I mean, she, before the show, was talking about how she was wearing her Nicole Good pin because, again, they use the M word because they only watch MS Now and CNN and read the New York Times, I guess, where they said, well, this woman was murdered in cold blood and we're being taken over. We're already in an authoritarian state where we have the government gunning down citizens. Like, again, this is what this person who apparently has a brain has come to the conclusion to, because this is what she's being fed. But also, when she finally gets out there, I guess this is supposed to be funny, but here's Wanda Sykes talking about how she's doing such a great job during the Golden Globes while half the country was falling asleep. This is cut 10. Go.
So, and shout out to the Golden Globes for having me, because there's some people pissed off that a queer black woman is up here doing the job of two mediocre white guys.
Yeah, I don't get it. Right, okay. It's like listening to Corinne Jean-Pierre during her book tour. Like, see, I'm queer, and I'm a black woman, and I'm doing the work of two mediocre white men. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care what the color of your skin is. Like, why does it have to be thrown in our face all the time? No one cares. I guess, well, I heard some woo out of there, so I guess the Hollywood crowd cares. But again, they are becoming less and less relevant. Sykes also decides to go off on the aforementioned Bill Maher, because Maher actually calls out Democrats once in a while, and she doesn't like that very much. This is cut 9. Go.
Bill Maher, you give us so much, but I would love a little less. Just try less.
Less what? Calling out people like you? And it's funny because they showed Maher, and it's, I guess, the monologues, the comedy, whoever's broadcasting it, I assume it was NBC last night, that they therefore know exactly what the joke is because they had a camera fixed on Maher right below him when it was told, and he didn't even crack a smile. Like, he's just like, yeah, nope, I guess you're taking a shot at me, and it's a dumb one to do. So that was the Golden Globes last night in a nutshell. Finally, before we go to break, let's hear from Hal Lambert. Now, this guy's on CNN with the absolutely most pious person in broadcasting, and that's saying a lot. That's Abby Phillip, who gets a lot of love from sites that apparently cover cable news, like she's this groundbreaking new awesome host, even though in that hour at, let's see, what time is she on? It's either 9 or 10 o'clock. I couldn't tell you. I just see the clips. But no, I think she's on at 10. She's up against Gutfeld, and I believe Greg is whatever the word is for 6 times the audience. I know quadruple is 4 times. I guess quintuplet is 5 times. I'm not sure what the 6 times term is, but that's what's happening at this point. And this host, Phillip, is always basically, when she speaks, it's gospel. She's never wrong. It's good to see her own guests pushing back on her. This is cut 5, talking about pardons under Trump compared to Biden. Cut 5, go.
Biden pardoned more people than in the history of pardons. So we don't need to get in the pardon game. With his auto pen, thousands of people.
Over 1,600 people. So he actually holds the record for them.
No, I think Biden pardoned more than that.
No,
9,000 at least.
It was like 10,000. Or if you count commutations, I guess, is what you're.
Okay, I'm talking about pardons. Trump pardoned.
Okay.
He's only been president the second time for 1 year.
At least Trump knows who he's pardoning. Biden didn't even know who he was pardoning.
And again, that's a great line at the end. It's so true. Joe Biden, okay, if we're looking at pardons, he has pardoned, let's see, pardoned total, past tense, 4,245 people. Pardons or clemency. If you look at Donald Trump, overall, over his 4 years and this past year, so we're talking about 5 years, 1,700. You compare that to Barack Obama, who's around 2,000 pardons or clemency. So again, trying this whole thing like Trump is reckless with the pardons, and yet Biden has everybody beat by Secretariat proportions. Good for you, Hal Lambert, for pushing back on that, because, again, I know no one's watching, but the clips can go viral once in a while, and this one definitely has, for all the wrong reasons, for Abby Phillip. This is Joe Concha. This is the Joe Concha Show. We wrap up this puppy in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, 77 WABC.
It is my great honor to welcome you all to Starfleet Academy.
There's never been a better time to enroll in Star Trek.
It's our job to prepare you for the unimaginable.
To the land, cadet! In high-pressure situations, positive reinforcement is crucial to one's success. You're doing a great job.
This is what we train for. These friends of mine, they all live for something bigger than themselves. And that's Starfleet.
Starfleet Academy. New series streaming January 15th on Paramount+.
At
twisted new season of The Traitors is finally here.
What did I get myself into?
The prize, $250,000.
I'm gonna lie and cheat and do whatever I have to do to win. If you're gonna come for me, I'll finish you.
Shame on you!
I'm out for blood. It is like a firing squad. Boom, 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 boom.
Let the games begin. Emmy Award winner, The Traitors. New episode streaming Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Only on Peacock.
It's the Joe Concha Show. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. Joe Concha. 77 WABC.
So I guess the question now is, do we really know the people that we're married to? I'm certain I know my wife. Let's see. It's been about, 20 years since we started. If you include dating and then the engagement and then the marriage, we've had 2 kids. She works 2 to 3 days a week, where you say, oh, that's a nice life, but she's an ER doctor, so those shifts can be anywhere from like 12 to 14 hours. And then on her off days, she has to do what's called chart. For legal purposes, you have to make sure that every chart that for every patient that you saw, and she saw something like 42 patients, I think, her last shift when she worked. I mean, that's a ton of patients. You got to make sure that you got every I dotted, every T crossed on these charts, just for HIPAA reasons, legal reasons, all those things. So even days off are kind of not days off. But my point is that she is home often. I'm home often. I know you see me on Fox a lot, but, not exactly revealing a big secret here. I have a home studio that I'm literally at right now in my basement. Like we always hear about Joe in his basement being Joe Biden. I was the original Joe in his basement. I've had these home studios nearly for, it's almost 10 years now. And it's a life changer because when you don't have to go to New York and deal with traffic from New Jersey. I'm 21 miles away exactly from Fox News headquarters. And you say 21 miles, in theory, then you should be there in about 30 minutes, right? Because most of it's by highway. I take Route 208 to Route 4. I go over the George Washington Bridge. I go down I guess it's the Joe DiMaggio Highway, which makes no sense because it's the West Side Highway, and that doesn't get you to the Yankee Stadium. The FDR, I guess, should have been named Joe DiMaggio Highway, but it's still the West Side Highway. And I'm sure even DiMaggio is like, yeah, I'll take her leave being named after the West Side Highway, which has no direct connection to me in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, you take the West Side Highway, and then you make a left onto 48th, and in 5 minutes you're at Fox. But on some days, especially, let's say when I do a show at 4 or 5 o'clock, well, that's a bit of a problem because then you're getting off an island with basically only 2 or 3 ways to get off the island. So there's always traffic, like, completely bumper to bumper. So if I leave Fox, say, at 5 o'clock, I'm not getting home till like 6:45. So it's an hour and 45 minutes to go 20 miles. But you all know this from living in the area. The reason why I bring this up is that, most times I'm around and many days my wife's around. So we know each other pretty well. And as she jokingly says, like, I'd have an affair, but I'm just too tired to cheat. It's like, where do people find time for all these affairs and all the things you have to go through to actually cover it up? Well, New York Post tonight has this headline about this New York City Harris, who reveals heiress, right? Heiress. Yeah, let me try that again. This New York City heiress who reveals that she learned about her husband's affair after 21 years of marriage. Apparently, this thing's been going on for a really long time, and she didn't know until 21 years in. I mean, you got to give the guy a little credit. I mean, I'm being somewhat facetious, but not really. All right? Because the fact that he was able to cover this thing all this time, especially with modern technology, like I would imagine that, infidelity was a lot easier before cell phones, right? Because literally on my phone, I have this thing it's an app called Life 360. And what that can do is I could look at it right now, as I'm going to do, and I could tell exactly, and don't call me creepy on this, all right? There's a reason for it. Life 360. I can tell you exactly where my daughter is. I can tell you exactly where my wife is. And obviously, I'm on here as well. It says that, let's see, my wife arrived home an hour and 3 minutes ago. My daughter arrived home an hour and 17 minutes ago. I know that because I picked her up from track practice along with my son. And I've been here, obviously, for an hour and 17 minutes as well. So why am I telling you this? Well, because I would think that with this monitoring device, and the reason why we have this is mainly for my daughter, right? So we know where she is at all times. She just turned 12, right? So this is a way to track and make sure that, we're aware of where she is and she can see where we are as well in case she comes home and maybe I'm working downstairs or maybe I'm in the city. Maybe my wife just went out to get some food real quick for dinner type of thing. But this gives her access to where we are and we can see where she is. And you can say, well, that's Orwellian, but then that's the world. But if you're on Life 360 and you want to have an affair, well, that's going to be kind of hard now, won't it? Or text messages, right? I mean, that's how they call it sexting, right? Look at Lisa Page and that Strzok guy, right? The FBI, where all they did was talking about taking out Trump. You would think they would have some romantic stuff on there, but literally all they did was talking about how they have to have Hillary win and take out Trump. The point is that there's 1,000 text messages between the two. So that can't be good for, Mrs. Strzok or Mr. Page, but they were found out eventually. Then there's emails. There's all these ways of communicating that very easily your spouse can probably access and eventually figure out things pretty quickly. But this guy was able to actually hide this whole affair that he had for 21 years. I mean, that's insane. Let's see. The New York socialite is Babe Polly. No, that can't really. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The granddaughter of legendary New York socialite Babe Polly. So her name is Flo Bell. Her name's a kid, Flo Bell. Belle Fairbanks Burden, and she never knew that her husband was had cheated on him. So at one point, somebody finally informs Belle through voicemail. It's almost like leaving a Post-it note on the refrigerator, and leaves her a message saying, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but your husband is having an affair with my wife." Oh my. Okay. I guess he's caught. And I guess she's going to get half, which isn't the worst, outcome in the world. And the music's telling me I got to go. This is the Joe Concha Show. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. In the meantime, 2 words for you. Bye-bye.
Demo, not for broadcast. Property of WABC New York.
If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, love those guys. You don't have to start over. With transfer-friendly pathways, your credits count, and you keep moving forward. From day one, you're part of Jasper Nation, preparing for the real world. And with New York City just a train away, opportunity is everywhere. Ready to move forward without missing a step? Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over, move forward.